This afternoon, we're focusing on how you can expand your college's offering with online learning. Thanks so much for joining us. If you have any questions through the webinar, you may post them in the YouTube comment section and we'll try and answer them either during the webinar or at the end of the webinar. Now, online learning has seen exponential growth over the last few years. And with the challenges that COVID-19 has brought this year, this growth has been expedited. My name is Lindsay Calder, and I'm from SK Education Solutions, a Google education partner and official provider of Cole Campus, our flagship learning management system. Before you start planning any online course, it is important to ask yourself, why would someone want to take my course? Students or employees take courses to either gain knowledge or to learn a new skill. They want to learn something new. It is therefore important to make sure that your course teaches them something. When starting to create your online course, it is important to note that a course does not need to be long. Students can actually learn best in shorter courses that focus on the actual knowledge or skills transferred. Shorter courses generally have higher completion rates as they maintain a student's interest throughout the course, particularly when students have so many other time distractions. During your course creation, spend some time on making the course interesting and exciting. Any online course is competing for a student's time and focus against many other distractions. Linked to this, you want to maximize your course completion rate through keeping your students engaged and motivated throughout the course. The tendency of course developers is to burden students with theory knowledge first, before introducing any practical components. This is something we strongly discourage, as the importance of keeping students engaged throughout the course takes preference, and the best way to do this is through the use of continuous practical tasks or assignments that demonstrate your students' progress. How do you keep students engaged? You need to make the students feel invested in their own development of knowledge and skills through ongoing achievements. This is done through continuous formative assessments. These formative assessments will serve two purposes. Firstly, to check that a student has understood each concept taught, and secondly, the issuing of results from these formative assessments will serve as ongoing feedback and therefore provide students with a much needed sense of achievement. It is important to also try and build in opportunities that enable you to provide the student with regular feedback. This will go a long way towards keeping your students engaged while reducing the feelings of isolation that are common with online learning. When you keep students engaged, you're keeping them motivated and increasing the chances of them completing your course. In course development, you want to create courses with longevity in mind, as well as requiring as little manual intervention as possible. To do this, you should aim to create formative assessments that can be assessed automatically with automated feedback being provided to each student based on their individual answers and results. This will reduce your long-term workload while still serving the purpose of keeping your students engaged and motivated. When starting your course development process, you should first list all the skills and knowledge that you want to share during the course, from the most basic to the most advanced. This will become your course outline, as one skill serves as a stepping stone to the next skill. Remember to include formative assessments into your planning, as these maintain a student's motivation throughout the course. In ensuring the longevity of your course, try and avoid references to specific dates. Keep these references more generic to ensure that your course does not age, and will also be applicable to multiple countries, depending on your target and content. These course developers Many course developers make the mistake of creating learning videos that are long and cover multiple topics. These long videos often result in students becoming bored, losing interest, and often ending up with the student feeling overwhelmed. We need to remind ourselves that online courses are to impart knowledge or teach a new skill. Each video should be short and only cover one concept or topic at a time. We always recommend that each video should only be 3 to 5 minutes per video, followed by a short formative assessment to check that the student can apply the knowledge or skill acquired from that short video that they watched. Once you have finalized your course outline, the next step is deciding what type of content or variety of content is best suited to your course. There are endless types of content being produced on a daily basis. However, what most people use is a combination of different mediums. When deciding on content, the key thing to keep in mind is which medium would be most effective for your students and their learning needs. Each medium has its pros and cons. You will need to weigh up each option and how it will contribute to the success of your course. Now, online courses usually make use of a combination of these mediums, depending on the type of course. The video content can be a very engaging and powerful way to connect with your students. Depending on how you record and design your video will depend on how quickly your video will be produced. If you choose to use a fully animated video, it can be very time-consuming to produce. The downside, however, of videos is that they tend to be data-heavy to download, although this is dependent on your video design and structure. Now, the second medium is screenshots, which are recordings of your screen. They are still images that are used to demonstrate technical explanations in a step-by-step format. And lastly, text is easy to share and a good way to provide additional information or explanations, particularly should you want to reference it at a later stage. When using text, it is important to be conscious that you don't overwhelm students with too much text at a time. Try and limit your amount of text at one time and spread it across several lessons rather than giving it all at once. Now, with all this knowledge, Sean Swartz will now give a practical demonstration of just how easy it can be to develop an online course on Col Campus. Just a reminder, if you've got any questions, please post them in the YouTube section. Now I'd like to hand you over to Sean.
Thank you, Lindsay. Thank you so much. I think that type of information that you've just given over is very, very useful, and lots of tips over there, and maybe a bit of an information overload. But since this is being recorded and will be available on YouTube after the webinar, you will be able to go back and get all the information that Lindsay's provided and make notes as need be. So that was the theoretical aspect of the course that we're giving today. And so I'm going to be doing the practical side of the course today, and that is to actually create a course. So we use, obviously, our system that we provide to clients. It's called Col Campus. That's colcampus.com. And that is where our clients create courses and deliver those courses to their thousands and thousands of students all the way around the world. We deliver courses on Col Campus for university level degrees, all the way down to short courses that only last an hour or two. And so it's a very versatile system. It's able to provide a whole range of different functionality depending on your requirements. And for demonstration purposes for today, I'm actually going to be logging into Col Campus and creating a course from scratch. Now, since we as a company, SK Education Solutions, is a Google education partner, we felt fit to choose a course or a sample of a course in that we are going to be creating this morning a sample of a course on how to use Google Sheets, which is the equivalent of Microsoft Excel. And so for this course, what I did is I just simply went to Google on the internet and I searched Google Sheets, and I found a sample video, a YouTube video that I'll be using in this course. I found a sample PDF file on information, reading information that students may want to read up on relating to the course, and also just some text that we'll put into the course, and we'll make up some questions. So courses in general, as Lindsay rightly said, comprise usually of multiple mediums. And so our course today that we're going to create will comprise of a video from YouTube, a PDF file, and some text in a page that will display. And then from a formative assessment perspective, we're going to also create a quiz that students would have to answer, and they would get immediate feedback to see if they've understood what they've just learned or not. We will also show you how to create assignments, written assignments that students would be required to do in the background. They would do it on paper or pen, computer, whatever it may be, but essentially they'll be uploading an assignment by a particular date, and then that assignment would be reviewed and assessed by an academic expert of some sort. Even moderation can be done through the system. All that assessing is obviously done online using annotation tools, and then the results are captured directly into ColCampus. So without talking any further, I'm going to share my screens. I'm going to share the ColCampus screen, and we are going to start by creating the course. So as a first step, here is my ColCampus system. What I have done is I've simply just logged in. And as you can see, I've got a whole range of different courses available. I do a lot of demos and training. And so these are all my courses. But to begin with, on the right-hand side, there's a Start a New Course button. And that's where you start a new course for ColCampus. So simply click on that, and we're going to put in the new name of the course. So I'm going to just call it, because it's Google Sheets that we're going to be talking about, I'm going to call it Sheets 101. And I'm going to click on the Create Course button, which is creating a shell of the course for us. And by creating the shell, it allows us to populate the course with all the different mediums that we want the course to deliver. So the first thing it's asking me to do is actually create a module. Now, a module you can think of as the equivalent of a topic within a course that you want to deliver. So I'm going to create a couple of modules. I'm just going to click on the plus module button to create a topic. And the first topic is going to be Introduction. Now you can see that I can actually lock the course should I want to. We'll lock the module until a particular date, or even until a particular time. So, or function. So for example, you may need to finish one topic or one module before you can move on to the next one. But introduction doesn't have any prerequisites. So I'm just going to click on add the module. And there's my introduction topic. I'm going to add another one, and I'm going to call it functions. So we're going to learn all about creating different functions, like adding up a column and things like that. So we're going to click on add module again. And now we've got our two topics or modules, one called introduction, one called functions. Now inside the introduction topic, I'm going to add my first piece of medium, which will just be a page. And this page is just going to be text relating to the topic that I want to introduce. And in order to do that, what I've done in advance is I have found a page on Wikipedia that we're going to use. I'm just going to go to Wikipedia over here, and the page is all about Google Sheets. And so we are going to use this information in our page. So I'm literally going to highlight this over here, and I'm just going to copy it for our course. Now, inside the course under Introduction, I want to add the first piece of medium, which will be text within a page. So I'm going to click on the plus button, and then it's going to ask me, what do I want to add? Now, I can add all these different things. I can add the assignments and quizzes and files and pages and all these different things. So I'm going to add a page to begin with, and I'm going to click on a new page. And I'm just going to call it Introduction to Google Sheets. And I'm going to add that. And it has now added this item for me, but now I need to click on it so that I can put the information into the page. So over here, we have an edit button. So I'm going to click the edit button, and it's now going to give me an editor similar to Microsoft Word or Google Docs, where I can type a web page, essentially, that students will see. And so instead of typing it, I'm just going to click in here, and I'm going to paste the information that I copied from the Wikipedia page just to save some time. And I'm going to click on Save and Publish. Publishing a document like this means that when the course is published, that students will be able to see it. But a course can be live, and while a course is live, you're able to work and add additional documents to the course. And until you publish those particular documents, only you as the teacher will see them, not all the students. So if we come back to modules over here, you'll see that under Introduction, I have my Introduction to Google Sheets page that I've added. And now the next thing that I want to do is I want to add a little YouTube video that I also found. And here's the little video that I found on YouTube prior to this webinar. And so I'm just going to add it here by clicking on the plus button. And now this time I'm going to add what's called an external URL. And that is allowing you to link other websites and put them into your course. And so we are adding the YouTube video link directly into our course. And so I'm going to just paste the link over there. And then under name, I'm going to call it video on Google Sheets. And I'm going to click on Add Item. And now we have added this video. Now, over and above that, I also downloaded this PDF document. And if we just open it quickly to look at it, it's a PDF file. You can see it's 10 pages. And just an introduction, a beginner's guide to Google Sheets. And we want to include this PDF inside our course. So I'm going to upload it. So let's go back to our course. And under Functions, we are going to add by clicking on the plus button. This time, we're going to add a file. We're going to upload the file. I'm going to choose a new file. I'm going to select the file. The file happens to be on my desktop. And let's add the PDF file over here. And we click on the Add button. And it's simply uploading this PDF file and automatically linking it to our course over here. Now it says Guide to using Google Sheets.pdf. Don't really like the PDF at the end, so I'm just going to select to edit over here, and I'm just going to actually change the whole name to, let's just call it Beginner's Guide. And update that. And now we have our Beginner's Guide over there. So far, we've added a page of text that students will see in a web page. We've added a video, and we've added a PDF file. Now, videos don't only have to come from YouTube. Obviously, if you're running a college, you're not going to be uploading your videos to YouTube. You want to protect your IP. And so the best way of doing that is uploading your videos to an integrated video streaming provider that we've already integrated with Cole Campus. It's a secure environment. Videos can't simply be downloaded. They can't be copied. They can't be shared with anyone. And so it's a much more secure environment. But simply for demo purposes now, I am just using a YouTube video. But now after this, we also need to add some questions. So we're now going to add a quiz. So again, under the plus button for formula, for functions, I'm going to click on it. Plus, this time I'm going to add a quiz. And I'm going to choose a new quiz, and I'm going to call it quiz. Let's just actually call it formative quiz. And add that item. And that again will be under our functions, but this time we have to click on it to actually add all the different questions. And now we're just going to make up a couple of questions and create this quiz. So I'm going to click on the edit button. Now this edit button is going to allow me to set up the rules for this quiz, because it's got quite a lot of fancy functionality that we can use. So firstly, under instructions, it's going to say no calculators are allowed. Then I'm going to tell it what type of quiz. So you can have a graded quiz, a survey even, but I'm just going to leave it as a graded quiz. And I'm going to choose to shuffle the answers. So if I have students sitting in a computer room or computer lab and all doing the quiz at the same time, and the first question comes up, and some of the students look to their left or to their right to see what answers their fellow students are using. And if they see that the student is selecting the top answer, or answer A or answer B, it won't be the same for me, because I will have answers shuffled. So my answer B might be somebody answers C. We can also set a time limit for the quiz. I'm going to say that this quiz is only 15 minutes. And after 15 minutes, the quiz will be automatically closed and submitted. Because this is a formative quiz, I want to make sure that students are learning. And so I don't mind if they do the quiz more than once. It's more for them to learn. And so I'm going to allow multiple attempts. And I'm always going to keep the highest score. And how many attempts? Well, I'm going to allow a maximum of 3 attempts for this quiz. I'm going to allow students to see their responses. And I'll also allow students to see what the correct answer is. It is a formative assessment. You may not want to allow them to see the correct answers. It's really dependent on the quiz. And then we can show more than one question at a time, one question under the next, or we can require them to see one question on the page, answer the question, and then they must click on next to go to the next question. I think I'm gonna use that option. So over here, show one question at a time. I'm going to click on that. We can also lock the question, so you can't go back to a previous question after you've clicked on next. We can also lock down the quiz. The first thing we can do is require an access code. So if we're doing it in a lab where all the students are doing it all at the same time, you may be doing a summative assessment, you can require a code so that students can't do it from home. They won't know the code. So I'm just going to make the code 123 for now. And over and above that, to make it very secure, you can actually require a lockdown browser. So that means that if they're not in your computer lab, with software that you've specially installed on their computer, it will be impossible for the student from home to actually activate the quiz. Then it's going to be assigned to everybody, or you can assign it to a particular student or a particular group of students. You may have multiple cohorts, and so you may choose to only allocate this quiz to a particular cohort, or you can set different due dates depending on the cohort. I'm going to set a due date of the 21st of this month. And I'm just going to leave available from out so that it'll be available immediately. And I'm now going to click on save. So now we've set up our quiz with all the different settings that we would want. But now we have to create the question. So we're going to click on edit again. And this time we're going to add a couple of questions. So in order to do that, we click on the questions tab over here. And now we can create two different types of quizzes. The first one is what we call a static quiz. Everyone will get the same questions. The answers might be shuffled, but they'll get the same set of questions. Or you can create a bank of questions. So you can have 100 questions in the system, and you can define what the quiz recipe is, and the system will automatically go and select questions, relevant questions, but ensuring at the same time, based on the recipe, that each student gets a very fair question set. But for now, we're just going to add a static quiz. And so we're going to click on new question to add a question. And we're ready to set up our questions. You can set different marks. I'm going to say that this question is worth 3 marks. And I can set up all these different types of questions. Multiple choice, true and false, fill in the missing words, multiple answers, match the columns, essays, even uploading, etc. And so to begin with, I'm just going to add a multiple choice question. Just before I continue with this question, just reminds me, if you have any questions, please type them in the comments and we will answer them after the demo. So the question will be over here, which function in Google Sheets allows you to add up a column of numbers? And we are going to put the different options over here. So we can call the first one add, and we'll just put a bracket there. The next one will be sum. The next one will be add up. And the last one will be list of numbers. And obviously the correct answer is sum. So I'm going to click here. And by clicking here, I've made this one green and selected this as the correct answer. So they'll know that if they answer sum, they'll get it right. If they answer anything else, they'll get it wrong. Now, because this is a formative assessment, we may want to give them feedback if they answer the wrong thing. So if they click on add, we can give them feedback so that they know where to go and revise. So I'm going to click on here. And over here, I'm going to say, in order to learn all about adding up columns of numbers, please review the video titled Adding Up. We don't have the video, but it's just a sample to see the types of feedback that you can give people. And then I'm going to click on Update Question, and I have added my first question. I'm going to add another question. This time, I'm going to add a filling the blanks. So the question will be, fill in the missing words, and it'll be the something, and I'm just going to call it option 1, the something set on the something, and I'll call that option 2. And under option 1, I'm going to give the correct answer. So the cat. And let's just say that they don't spell cat correctly. You can also do it with a K. So it'll be K-A-T. We'll also accept that as a correct answer. And then I'm going to choose option 2, set on the mat. And we're going to update that as well. Let's add one last question. This time we're going to select a, what should we do? Multiple answers. And this one would be, which of the following are numbers? Now, obviously, I'm not doing the questions relating to Google Sheets, but I think it's quite clear how it would work. Let's add the correct answers. So 1003, 56, XYZ. I think that's enough. Those are the 3. So which are correct? Well, that one's correct and this one's correct. So now we're saying these 2 are correct. So both of them are correct. I'm going to make this worth 4 marks. And so essentially, if I get only 1 correct, I'll get 2 out of 4. And let's update that question. And then I'm just going to click on save. And we've created our quiz. And we're ready for the students to do this quiz. Let's go back to modules. Now, there's lots and lots of things that we can add to the course. There's different discussion forums that you can add and all fancy things. But I think I just want to add one more thing before I actually demonstrate the course and show you how the course would look from a student perspective. And so the last thing I want to add is an assignment that a student would be required to upload. So I'm going to click on the plus button over here. This time it's an assignment. I'm going to click on new assignment. I'm going to call it, let's call it formative assignment 1. And click on add. And I've added that assignment. Now I'm going to click on it to set it up and to define all the rules around this formative assignment. Now, we simply click on edit again, and it's now going to ask us all the information that we need to set up, or all the rules relating to this formative assignment. So over here, we are going to actually create the assignment. Now, we could link a file to this, and they can see what the questions are. Or we can say here, this is Google Sheets formative assignment 1, question 1, create a Google Sheet that adds up 10 numbers in column or in let's even say a row. We can do it that way, row B. Question 2 will be highlight every second cell in row A. Okay, very simple assignment. Now the points, well, that's how many marks is this out of? We can say that this is going to be out of 50 marks. It's an assignment. The submission requirement is that they're going to have to submit it online. They're going to upload it. And we're going to restrict the uploads. So we only want to accept PDF files for now. You could accept anything you want, but for now we only want uploads of PDF files. It's not a group assignment. We're going to assign it to everybody. We're going to set the due date to be the 29th. and we are going to click on Save and Publish. So now we've set up this assignment. Very quickly, I know this may be going into a little bit more detail and too technical, but I just want you to see it so you're aware that it is possible, and that is to create what's called a marking rubric for these assignments. I'm going to click on here, and I'm going to call it the formula assignment rubric, and we're going to basically be giving them marks depending on what they did for each question. So I'm going to call this assessment criteria 1 for question 1. It's going to update that. And I'm going to say that if they get full marks for that, they'll get 10 marks. And we're going to add one in the middle, call it average. Update that. And I'm going to add one more criterion. This time we're going to call it assessment criteria 2. And that will be for the second question. And we're also going to give them 10 marks. And the average will be 5 marks. And I'm going to update that. And we are going to just say that we must use this rubric for grading, and we're going to click on Create and change. Okay, so we made it out of 20 instead of 40 or 50. Okay, so now we have our assignment, and let's go back to modules. Let's see that everything is published that we need to be published for the demo. And so let's have a look here. We can see everything's published except the video. So I'm going to click on the video. And in fact, the actual module topics are not published. You can see over here, they're not published. I'm just going to click on there to publish it and click on there to publish it. And then I'm going to click on Home. Now, by clicking on Home, it takes me to an option where I can actually publish the entire course. And so I'm clicking here, Publish, and it's going to publish the course. If you don't publish the course, then obviously students, even if they are enrolled in the course, won't be able to see anything. They won't be able to see the course. And just before we actually go ahead and look at the course, I want to go to settings here. You see all these menu options on the left-hand side. I believe we don't need all of them for this course. I want to get rid of some of them. So I just want to customize, just to show you how you can customize a course. I'm going to click on Navigation. And here are all the different things. I'm going to take out the quizzes, and I'm going to take out outcomes. I'm just dragging them outside, or syllabus, and files, and pages, people, discussions, assignments. And then I'm going to make module right at the top over here under Home. And there'll be only these 4 modules. And I'm going to click on Save. So now, we've created a very short course. We've done it in about 25 minutes. And the next thing we want to do is actually see what will this course look like from a student's perspective. And so instead of enrolling a student into the course, we have the facility to see it from a student's point of view. So we have the Student View button. So I'm going to click on Student View. And now it's actually going to show us from a test student perspective what the course looks like. You can see we now have this pink or purple border around the course. That's just telling us that it's a test student. And we're here with the course. And we can see this is my course outline. This is what I need to do. And the first thing I need to do is the introduction here. So as a student, I'm going to click on Introduction, and it's going to open the course. So here's our course. Just wait for it to load over here. There it is. Don't worry about, there's a bit of advertising here. That's just because I'm using a different advert related account for this demo. But over here, you can see it says Introduction to Google Sheets. With the text that I read, we'd be able to click on any of these items, and then we can click on Next to go onto the next part of our course. Now, the next part of our course is a video. So there's the video that I embedded from YouTube, and you would simply just click on the play button, and it will play the course, the video for the student. After watching the video, we click on Next, and the next part of the course is our PDF file, and our PDF file is over here. We can either click to download it or actually view it embedded in the course itself. And after that, we click on Next. And here's the quiz that it wants us to take. So it's telling us this quiz is out of 8 marks. There are 3 questions. I'm going to have 15 minutes, and I'm allowed to take this quiz 3 times. It's telling me that there are no calculators allowed, so I'm going to click on Take the Quiz. Now remember that I actually put in a code, an access code. So that if you recall, the code is 123. I'm going to type 123 and click Submit. Otherwise, I can't start the quiz. And we also requested that only 1 question would be displayed at a time. And so here's my first question, question 1. Which function in Google Sheets allows you to add up a column? And here are the options. And if you recall, if you answered add, it would give us feedback as to why it's wrong. So I'm just going to get it wrong. So I'm going to click on add over there as the option. I'm going to click on next for the next question. You can see here on the right-hand side that it's also counting down the time. I've only got 14 minutes and 15 seconds left. Question 2, fill in the missing words. The cat sat on the mat. So I have to type something in and it will mark it for us. Click on next. Question 3, which of the following are numbers? So again, you can see it shuffled the answers. Let's get it right. I'm going to click there and there. And we're going to now submit the quiz, and it's going to automatically mark it for us and give us our feedback. So it's busy marking, and I achieved 5 out of 8, which is 62.5%. I have 2 more attempts to take the quiz. Attempt number 1, it keeps a history of all the attempts. Attempt number 1, I did it in 1 minute and I got 5 out of 8. And because I chose to allow us to give feedback, here is our feedback. Question 1, the correct answer was sum, but I answered add, and there we go. It's even over here giving me the feedback relating to that particular question. So now I know I need to go watch that video so that I can improve my skills before I take the next quiz. Here, question 2, I got it correct, and question 3, I got it correct. And then I click on next to go to the next part and final part of the course that we've created today. Here it is. It's a Google Sheets assignment. There are 2 questions. It's out of 20 marks. I have to upload a PDF file, and it's even showing me the rubric as to how my teacher is going to be marking this assignment. So in order to submit it, I need to literally submit an assignment. I don't have an assignment to submit yet. So I'm just going to open up Word, Microsoft Word over here, and let's create a quick PDF file. I'm going to call it Student Sean Assignment 1, Question 1, and this would be the answer to question 1. Question 2, this would be my answer to question 2. And I'm going to just export this as a PDF file. And I'm just going to save it on my desktop. I'm going to call it assignment, and there it is in PDF format. I can close it. Okay, so now let us go and submit the assignment. I'm going to click on Submit Assignment over here. Over here now it's asking me to upload the file. So I'm going to choose the file. Here it is on the desktop called Assignment. I can even give some comments to my teacher. I can say, this assignment was so easy. And I click on Submit Assignment. It's taking this PDF file, it's uploading it into the system, and it will then confirm for me that it has been received and ready for the teacher to do their marking. There it is, submitted over here. You can see submitted on the 7th of October at 3:46 p.m. I can see the submission details. I can even download the assignment, and there is my comment. And that is the end from a student's perspective. So I'm going to click to leave student view. The last thing I want to show you is from the teacher's perspective. So the student has participated in the whole course, but the teacher still needs to mark all these assignments that have been uploaded. If I go to the home page of the course, as a teacher, I will see that on the right-hand side over here, there's a to-do list for me, and I need to grade one formative assignment. So I'm just going to click on it to load up the grading tool, and I'm going to then show you how you can actually mark assignments online using all different types of tools. So the first tools I'm going to show you are our annotation tools. So I can simply click on a cross over there. I can click on the tick, and I want to put over here a nice tick over there. I want to draw something. I can just draw something over there and move it around. I can even highlight something to show them what I want them to do. Okay, it's the wrong color, but you get the picture of it. So you can type in a message over here and say, excellent work. You can even draw an arrow over there to point. You can circle something if you want to circle something. So it's got a lot of nice annotation functionality. But besides that, I'm going to just make some space over here, and I'm going to click on View Rubric. And here is my rubric. So these are the two assessment criteria. I look at question 1, did very well. I'm going to click over there. It's automatically allocated 10 marks. Question 2 was quite average. I'm just going to click on average. We'll give them 5 marks. But actually, you know what? I feel like they deserve a little bit more. I'm going to give them 7 marks. And I'm going to click on Save. So by doing that, it's now saved the rubric and automatically entered the 17 mark, the grade of 17 out of 20 into the grade column. And that's it. You've now assessed this student's assignment. No need to download things, no need to print things and to rescan them. You can do all your assessing online. So that was a brief introduction to see the different functionality that Call Campus has available. It's very comprehensive. What I showed you is just a small portion of what Call Campus can do. But as you can see, it's quite easy to create a course and to use a course. Thank you for your time in viewing the demo. I'm going to